episode of the weekly virtual Big B Meetup, Qatar's popular community outreach initiative founded in 2018. And in April 2020, the pandemic brought about its virtual edition. It is inspired by the people of Qatar, both local and expatriate, and dedicated to my mother. It aims to inform, to educate, to inspire, and bring communities together. We all need wellness in our lives now more than ever. Thus, we revisit our popular The Wellness Mentality theme and host two amazing wellness professionals, dare I say gurus, Faten and Ceca. Ahlan, ladies.
Ahlan.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Bosco, for this introduction.
You're welcome. And it's a pleasure to host you all, two wonderful human beings. Faten, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, absolutely. So good evening, everyone. And I'm so excited to be here. My name is Faten Al-Ayash. I'm a life and executive coach. I'm an NLP practitioner and a positive psychology practitioner. And before all of that, I started my career as a pharmacist and then moved to what's more meaningful to me and how I can impact people more. And that was through coaching. So that's a bit about me.
Wow, pharmacy. Yeah? So you could actually even delve into psychiatry if you have a pharmacist degree. Popping some pills, although I don't like that. Ceca, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hi all. Bosco, thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. My name is Ceca. I'm a mindset and self-development coach. My background is actually in economics and in business, so quite a little bit different. And during my journey, I was doing sales and training people as well in sales. And I realized that really motivating people makes me so happy. So since last year, I also started mindset coaching. So yeah.
That's lovely. Great. Coming back to Faten, could you delve more into your life coaching journey? When did you start? And a little more about that. And I'd also like to know about the positive psychology that you just said. You had some points that are lovely. So if you could just reintroduce, but give us a little more elaborate.
Right. So with coaching, I started 3 years ago, and I got certified through the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And I'm now, because I'm having almost 500 hours under my belt, I'm going to another certification in that. I'd like to because I've been in Qatar for the last 15 years, Bosco, I'm noticing from my clients that coaching is not very well known, and maybe worldwide, or in the region, let's put it this way. In the region, coaching isn't very well known. So I'd like to start by defining what coaching is and what coaching is, to make sure that people understand what it is. And I always like to make it closer to people's minds because, the fitness industry is very well built and they know what a personal trainer does. So I always say hiring a life coach is just like hiring a personal trainer. First, because it's a process. You wouldn't go to the gym once and you achieve your fitness goals. And the same happens with coaching. You have lots of goals maybe during your life or personal, professional. So you cannot expect to go to the coach once and get everything resolved. So it's a process. And second, because you wouldn't walk to the gym at any moment and find the personal trainer holding the weights for you and doing the repetitions. Right? You have to do the work yourself. So I say if you are really willing to do the work, I would tell my clients, I'm committed to make a positive difference in your life because this is how I see it. So coaches unlock potential. We ask really thought-provoking questions, and people start, Bosco, looking like, yeah, that's a very, very interesting question. That's very deep question to
Yeah.
achieve personal and or professional goals. So that's in a nutshell about coaching and what we as coaches do. Topics could vary. I have, as I said, it's life coaching. It's personal and professional. It's not something related only to your career. It's maybe something bothering you at home, because if you have a problem at work, your home is affected, and if you have a problem at work, you're at yeah. So it's vice versa, right?
Yeah, true.
This all goes under coaching. With the positive psychology practitioner title that I gave myself, actually, I just finished my master's in positive psychology and coaching psychology,
Wow.
and
How long did you take to do that?
2 years.
Oh,
It's
lovely.
yeah, it started in
That's nice.
2019, and it's a 2-year program at the University of East London, which is it's a very interesting program. So with this degree, I learned much more and delved right into positive psychology, because there's quite an intersection between coaching and positive psychology. And I learned about positive psychology interventions that I use with my clients and what it takes to be positive in life. And I know that Sessa introduced herself as a mindset coach, and I so much love it, because I always say it's all up here.
Mhm.
It's all in the mind. We can
Yeah.
be positive, and it's not that we are in la la land. No, we know we are real, and we can be putting positive thoughts in our head up there. So I
Yeah.
talked a lot.
Yeah.
I Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's move to Sessa because we got so many things to know, learn from Sessa too. So, Sessa, when did your life coaching journey begin? Your young life coaching journey, and you come across as a very astute person, as opposed to Faten, to me at least, and I like that about you because you exude the mindset coach in you, like it reminds me of my mathematics professor who took no BS. He was like, hey, if you don't get that right,
Yeah.
so please give us your insights into your journey. When did you begin? Why did you begin? And who inspired you? Or, sometimes you
Yeah.
inspire yourself. So please elaborate, Sessa.
Yeah. So my journey, well, I'll just explain to you a little bit more about that. So I started my journey. Well, I studied economics for my bachelor's. Then I studied management for my master's. Then I worked for a little while in Amsterdam, where I'm from. I'm from the Netherlands. And then I got contacted by an international business publication who makes country-specific economic reports.
Okay.
So this is how I reached the Middle East, basically. My first country was Oman. Then I went to Abu Dhabi. Then I went to Kuwait. And what I was doing, and then to Qatar. And then in Qatar, I stayed the longest. I did 2 years for the project in Qatar for the magazine. And then I joined PwC.
Oh,
So in the magazine, I was basically responsible for the country operations, but also for the sales, for advertisement sales. And actually, before that already, I was always reading self-development books. I was always interested in this, always interested in psychology. I was thinking like, oh, I wish I studied psychology. I wish I took a different career path, But then I was in the second year of my job, and at some point, like I wasn't I didn't really reach the targets, and I wasn't enjoying the job, and I just wanted to change it. I just wanted to basically do something else. But yeah, I still had to finish the project until another 6 months. So then I don't remember how, but I read the book Neurolinguistic Programming for Dummies. And when I read this book, it was like, oh my God, like, whoa, this is like a new world opening for me. And I'm sure Faten will understand like how neurolinguistic programming can impact you. So neurolinguistic programming, so neuro, it stands for the brain and how you can like impact your thoughts and how you can influence your thoughts. And basically it's about learning that you are in control of your own life. Because this is also in self-development, this is basically the first stage of self-development. It is realizing that you are not the victim. Life is not happening to you, but you can be in charge of your own life. And this is something like, okay, when you say it, it sounds logical, but a lot of people, they haven't realized that yet. So this is also interesting with like some clients, they are still not, they still haven't really reached that stage. So it's quite interesting, to see the variety. So for me, when I read the neurolinguistic programming for the first time, this is when I reached this level of self-development, like, okay, I am in fact in control of my life. So this is for the neuro part. But then there's the linguistic part, which is about communication, which is about using language, using words. And if you combine that with the brain, neurolinguistic programming talks a lot about limiting beliefs and how to think positively. And even, for example, in my situation, I didn't like my job, I wasn't happy, but neurolinguistic programming says if you cannot change the situation, then you might as well make the best out of it. So this is what I did.
Nice.
And I made the best out of it. Plus, it shows like, okay, if you, for example, let's say somebody who's not very good looking, he thinks he's very good looking. Like this is more beneficial than if somebody who, for example, is good looking, he doesn't believe he's good looking. Doesn't make sense? Like it's more beneficial if you have a positive thought. And if once you realize that, in fact, it's just more beneficial if like, then you realize I might as well think positively. And then, for example, in my sales processes, if I present my product, what I want to sell, and if I have a positive thought, and if I think, okay, this is actually a good product and I can benefit the person. If you come with this energy and with this, okay, then it can be about energy, but in fact, it's about body language a lot as well. So how to come across confident, right?
True.
So if you come across with confidence, then it's much easier to sell. But then also you can start analyzing people like, okay, by listening to the words, what the people are using. For example, if somebody talks a lot about numbers, if I'm trying to sell something to this person, I should talk about the return of investment, or I should talk about like some numerical figures, right? So it makes more sense for this person to purchase my product, for example. So this is how I basically, after I started reading about neurolinguistic programming, I like turned around my work. Like I started selling a lot. It was going amazing.
Wow.
So it changed my sales. So this is how I saw, okay, it has a lot of impact. So then after that, I started I started in PwC, and I was still just doing it on the side. But I was always in my sales job. I had some trainees, so I was teaching them how to sell. So I was also like teaching them this NLP tricks. So I really enjoyed that, and I was thinking, oh, I would love to be like a motivational speaker or a life coach or something.
Yeah. So does NLP help you with sales? How did it help you with sales with your company? I mean, your previous company, and now, how did it help you? And are there some traits you can see in the person when you? I mean, so you're using NLP for your sales, but you can also use NLP for, I mean, as a life coach to treat to not to treat, but to help your clients achieve their goals, right? How
Yeah.
how do you do that in a nutshell? Because then I'll go back to Faten, and I forgot to ask you all my defining question of what does wellness mean to you all, and define wellness. So that's my next question. But Sessa, if you can tell us, how did NLP help you? How did you use it? And a little more about that on the NLP app.
Yeah, NLP, you can practically use it everywhere. So with my clients, so in my case, the way I work with my clients is any issue they have, or not as much issue, but any goal they want to achieve. Sometimes, they want to achieve something, but they're like procrastinating and they don't understand why they're procrastinating, or they want to achieve something, but they just weren't able to do it. Then you can dig deeper into the mindset. So you need to go back to, okay, why did you want to achieve this in the first place? And then once you start talking about this, a lot of limiting beliefs come up. And this is in NLP, this is also like one of the basic principles. It's like, just talking over these limiting beliefs, over the fears as well. People have a lot of fears, how to deal with fears, how to overcome fears. And as a coach, you just need to give your coachees a little push to, there's often like this, this roadblock of fear.
Yeah.
And on the other side, everything is fine, but just like to overcome this roadblock is just so scary because our brain naturally functions like this.
True. Do you use CBT also? Do you all use CBT in your therapy? I don't know. I can't use the word therapy, right? You're not a therapist. Would you?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
use CBT. I've used it on myself a little bit, but not with my coaches.
Okay.
We're in, like, I'm aware about the cognitive behavioral therapy, and sometimes I use it because there's cognitive behavioral coaching as well. So
Oh,
this model I came across through my master's, through my degree in positive psychology and coaching psychology, and we sometimes use that. I wanted to talk about Sasa, what she was talking about, limiting beliefs, because I believe that this is a very important point that she raised. And there are two kinds of beliefs, a limiting belief and an empowering belief. So as the name says, a limiting belief limits us and limits our capability to do things the
yeah.
way we want to do. And we say, the universal limiting belief is I cannot. Everyone says, I cannot do this, or I cannot do that, or I cannot move from my job, and that's a very limiting belief. And we sometimes use words like never or always. And these are big exaggerations that if we just stop and ask the client, like, never, or like, you're always not good enough, or you always cannot achieve this, they will stop and will start thinking that, well, no, I can achieve this and I can do that. So that's something that's really important. I wanted just to touch upon, which is
Yeah.
the
Can you
difference between
no, you don't have to
limit.
touch upon. Can you elaborate a little bit? Can you elaborate a little bit more, Fatin, on
Yeah,
that? Because how is it different from affirmations? My former boss, in fact, my sponsor, a Qatari gentleman, Mr. Al Jaida, he gifted me a mindset. I mean, not a mindset, sorry, a positive affirmations book, a little tiny book that would go in my pocket. It was a really tiny one, but it had small affirmations, and it had positive verses from different poets. One very positive poet you'd love to know is Khalil Gibran.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
my son's name. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
how I like this. You said never say never.
Right.
And
And I cannot. People so many times say, I cannot do this, or I cannot do that. I cannot change my job. I cannot. There are lots of I can't, and that's a universal limiting belief because it's limiting my potential. It's limiting me as a person. And when I am in that state, when I'm feeling like with limits, and it's just as if I have like a brick wall in front of my face. I cannot see
yeah,
opportunity. So that's what coaching does. It allows you to say, I can. And we challenge our clients. I love challenging my clients after taking their permission to let them step out of the comfort zone and say, well, yes, I did it. And that's the difference between a limiting belief and an empowering belief.
yeah.
And
Can
because
you
it's so, just a second, before I forgot what I wanted to say. So it's because it's so rooted and sometimes it goes back to our childhood, we think that that's the reality, and that's why it's called a belief, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we do as coaches. We remove that limiting belief from its roots, because
Can
if
you
you have,
can you give an
go ahead
example?
please.
Can you give an example, like, of a limiting belief, and how? I mean, can you give an example of somebody? I mean, as in fictitious it could be, but an example, so that like, I am scared to walk my neighbor's dog or something. I'm just saying, or I'm scared to take the stair. I'm scared to go in the elevator. I'm not, but I'm just saying. Some people have that fear, like.
Yeah.
So how, it's like, it's like
You
they
know,
say.
a very common limiting belief, Bosco, sorry for interrupting you, is, for example, I am old. I'm too old for this.
Please, can you not go there?
Okay, what shall I
Okay, no, no,
say?
no, no. Please, go ahead. Please, it's
Like,
okay.
I'm too old for this. I stayed 20 years in this current role, and I'm too old. I cannot change my job.
I can also I have some also fun examples. It's sometimes if for example, if you're a small kid and your teacher told you you're not good at spelling, then what happens? You believe you're not good at spelling because you see your teacher as authority, right? So what happens in your spelling classes? You're going to feel demotivated. You're not going to put any effort. You think you're not good at it anyways. And then because you're not doing the effort, it's like your belief is going to impact your habits and your effort, what you're going to put in there. So then you'll end up, actually it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So limiting beliefs, they can become like self-fulfilling prophecies. With me, a limiting belief I had, and this is when I did my coaching course, and I did a coaching course with Rob Dial, and like one of the first things, like they're covering the course, it's like, okay, you want to become a coach. This has a lot that you can have a lot of limiting beliefs, and my limiting belief was I'm too young to be a mindset coach because I don't have experience. I'm too young to be a life coach because I don't have a lot of life experience compared to the people maybe who I want to be coaching. So this is a very big limiting belief,
I was
right?
going to ask you
Because
that question, Cesa. I was going to ask you that question. Good. It's good that you're answering it yourself. Please
yeah,
continue.
yeah. So this was my limiting belief. I thought I would love to be a life coach one day, but I'm too young. Like I thought people will not take me seriously.
Yeah.
But I understood that this, in fact, it's a limiting belief because as a coach, you don't need to know, like you don't need to have you don't need to understand the whole thing what the person is going through. Or you don't need to have lived the same life as the person you're coaching. The key role as a coach is, as Faten said earlier, is to ask the right questions, is to dig deeper, is to open people's eyes. Because the people, the coaches, they already know the answers. It's just about how you frame it, how you frame their paradigm, basically. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is another limiting belief,
Yeah.
for
True. True.
example.
Fatin, coming back to you where we were.
Yes. So one of the limiting beliefs that I had, I will be my my own guinea pig here, that I'm not creative, for example. I'm not a creative person. And it stayed with me for so long that I'm not a creative person. And then when I started getting feedback like, wow, you are like, you sit in a meeting, you get up with so many ideas, you're so creative, and I got so many feedback around that. I stopped and started reflecting, like, what makes me say, and that's what we do as coaches, like, what makes me say that I'm not creative? Is it because I'm not like Bosco, for example? I cannot take good photos. Is it because I'm not an artist? I don't play piano, I don't draw, that I'm saying that? And then when I started saying, yes, I am creative, trust me, the like, I'm limitless now.
Wow.
Just because I started believing that I am creative, and yes, I am creative. So the moment I embraced that and I wore that cape that I am creative, I started getting up with so many ideas. And
Yeah.
that's why, as I said earlier, I stepped out of my comfort zone big times, from a
Yeah.
pharmacist to a coach. I'm working in the university as a career consultant, for example, and I help students with jobs and internship opportunities. I do coaching, and then taking that
Whi- Which
leap.
which which university, Faten?
Yes, at Carnegie Mellon University in Qatar,
Carnegie Mellon. Okay. Talking
one
of
of
Guinea,
the
yeah,
leading
it is.
universities.
It's a
And
Ivy
now
League.
I want to share something that I decided, because I am limitless and I am creative and I'm believing in myself, to take that step and be on my own, opening my own, working on my own
Wow!
uh,
Congratulations,
coaching and
Mabruk.
consulting business. So thank you so much. So my last working day is actually after 5 days. It's August 5. I will
Okay.
finish my 5.5, 5.5 years at Carnegie Mellon, which I so much love. I'll keep on definitely.
Five point
Uh,
five, huh?
yes,
You
5.5
really you
years.
really love that number five, don't you?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Apparently, yes.
It's
So,
funny because
So
Faten and I met before. I was mentoring one of her students.
yeah, exactly.
oh,
That's how we met.
oh
So
wow. What, weren't
so
you too
yeah,
young for that, Cesar? Weren't you too young for that?
No,
Yeah.
because
Fa-
I
Fat,
went through life.
no,
he's
fat.
challenging you now.
Yeah, Fatin, talking of guinea pigs, I'd like to throw myself into this little pot here. Sometimes, in fact, not sometimes, lately, I've had a lot of artist block. I mean, I call myself an artist, of course. I need to, as you said, limitless. Sometimes I have self doubt, like I'm doing my program, I'm doing my art, I do a bit of sketching. You haven't seen my sketching. I've had 7 exhibitions in Qatar, photo exhibitions. So sometimes you have a block, uh, and now by talking to you all both, I believe that block is self-made. When people say they have an artist block, or a writer goes up into the mountains, or he goes and plonks himself in a village and wants to get inspired. There are reasons for that, because sometimes you cannot be in your own home and be inspired, but maybe not. Can you explain why these blocks happen? I mean, if you have,
I
I
can
mean,
ask you. I can ask you a question if we want to do this live
oh,
demo,
yeah,
mini
that'd be
demo.
nice. Yeah, guinea pig live Bosco on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. What makes it important for you to go into writing or drawing or
It gives me inner peace. It gives me calm. It satisfies me internally, my soul. It's soul food.
wow. And what else?
Uh, well, the likes that I get on Facebook, maybe. No, I'm just kidding. No, not really. But no, I have a few goals. Like I want to have my own. I want to produce a book, a couple of books actually. I have a coffee table book in mind. Since I've been in publishing also, Cesar, for 20 years. In fact, I started my career there as a salesperson. Never used NLP. I
Oh,
use
you
my
should.
I use my charm, but most of the charm is
Good
left
for
me.
you.
Yeah. So yeah, I have goals of producing a book. I want to take my Big B meetup to. I've taken it internationally, but even more bigger than that. I mean, get more people to know about my program, as I propose it to be the TED Talks of Qatar. I think, Fatin, you've been on the TED Talk, right?
Yeah, I'm a TEDx speaker. Yeah.
TEDx speaker. Now you're a big B speaker too. Wow, lucky you. Yeah. So, but
So
no, no. So
so
sometimes in my
yes.
goals, I'm so sorry. I get what do you call it? Uh, you feel low. Like sometimes because I have a. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like this, or it's not like this. Sometimes it's like this, but most of the time it's like this. So you want to be driven. Uh, I'm not that driven.
Right. I'm not driven
Yeah.
that. that might be a limiting belief. I'll just park it on the side and ask you, like, how is this aligned with your true self, with who you are as a person?
Ah, I think I should not go live now, but I will. I don't mind because I'm a giver. I'm more of a, you know, I want to help. I'm a volunteer. I like to do good, but I'm not driven monetarily. Although the world is driven monetarily, I mean, come on, if I can't go live on Big B, or I can't be right here if I'm not making money and paying for my bills, right? But I feel people are overdriven by the zest for money. There should be other things aligned also, and then that will give happiness. I know, and now this is a real session now, but I'm just telling you, I'm just giving you my mixed
Yeah.
thoughts here. So that's where this comes in. And I'm not calling you into a free session here. I'm just I'm just trying to make it. I'm making it very authentic
I
here.
really want to I really want to acknowledge your courageousness, to be honest, on your show, doing this live without any preparation, anything,
Yeah, yeah.
just because you want
No,
people to test and understand what is coaching. I really want to thank you. I can't stop here. And I just want to say that what I noticed here is a limiting belief around, being not driven, being having that block. And there's another thing, which is, maybe there's a money block and abundance block, right? So there's thoughts about money and limiting beliefs around money. We will
yeah,
definitely take this offline,
yeah,
but I'm happy that we're talking about this, because this will definitely give an idea to the people in Qatar
yeah,
and in the region, I hope, that what coaches do, it's not something that it's just a discussion, basically,
yeah,
but with very, very thought-provoking questions, as you saw, Sessa, like
yeah.
Bosco was thinking. He stopped and thought just for a second, and that is just amazing. And at the same time, um, it's a discussion, but with a goal. Like, it's not, you talk to your friend and that's it. I vent and I release all the tension that I had. It's not that. There's a goal. I want to reach something, and that's what we
Yeah.
reach. I'll stay silent now. Take.
Yeah, I would like to add, Bosco, about what you were saying about that you said you're not driven. And actually, Faten, I wrote down money mindset because money mindset is a whole other, like, we can have a whole other session about money mindset and
Yeah.
limiting around money. But Bosco,
I,
like, it feels like
can,
you're
I just want to add.
procrastinating.
I just want to add one thing. Money. I was driven when I was in my early 20s because I was not bitten at that time. But later in life, when you don't get paid for months or many times, and you work so hard, and then you're like, what's the point? You're still living, but you did a good job, but you didn't get paid for it. You know what I mean? Now, it's a bad scenario, but that's not the only thing anymore. Sometimes, as an artist, as a community leader or a community outreach initiative founder, you're driven to help the community, but you're not driven monetarily. Although I do get paid for my programs, by the way. People pay to come on my show here, but for example, I'm doing this for free because I want to have other people get experienced from Cesa, from Faten. I want people to get help. Not everybody can afford to get help. Sometimes many people help each other on their own accord, and it's a blessing, if I may say so. And it's about giving in abundance.
Can I say something? I know we might be taking the discussion in a different direction
Yeah,
about people not affording to get help. If we live with internet, and if we have a ceiling above our head and a place to sleep, and we're not like really homeless, and we are not under the poverty line, I think everyone can achieve, um, can get help because we are resourceful, we are creative, and we are whole. And
Wow.
that's the basis of coaching. And because we are resourceful, irrespective of how bad the situation is, we will get out of it. We get so much resourceful that we will find a way to get out of it. So there's always ways to get help. Um, as I said, through
That's nice.
coaching, through so many ways. Like one of the books that I started my career with is called, and it's a very interesting book. Actually, I gifted to so many of my
Can you?
friends who are
You're
coaches.
breaking up,
Called-
Faten. You broke up. I couldn't hear you. What did you say? What was the name of the book?
Yes, so the name of the book is called The Prosperous Coach for Rich Litvin and Steve Chandler.
The Prospect.
And one of the lines that I really fully believe in, and I see it in my sessions with my clients, is that if they are seeing value in what you are bringing, they will go borrow money from Aunt Mary
Wow.
to, to your sessions.
I love
And
this.
trust me, that's happening because I'm seeing it.
And it's about people transforming their lives. It's not
Yeah.
about buying like a pen or something. It's like
Exactly. That's
like
the
with
right
my
investment. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the right investment that
Yeah.
people should be interested in. It's not a bag, a Louis Vuitton bag or a Chanel shoes or a Chanel bag, or it's because the Chanel bags and the Gucci whatever will not make people happy, and that's what we are seeing now. You
They
know,
might make them happy for a day. They might make them happy for a day.
Trust me, not a day, maybe a
It's
few hours.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the coach says, imagine you have a Lamborghini, a brand new Lamborghini outside on the street, and somebody comes to you and he says, you can buy this Lamborghini for $10,000. A brand new Lamborghini for $10,000. If you see this Lamborghini and you have the opportunity to buy it for $10,000, like look at the value of the thing and the price. Like, don't tell me you cannot get like $10,000. Like, you will find your ways to get the $10,000 to buy this
Correct.
Lamborghini,
Yeah.
right?
So, Cesar, can you go back to what I know I think I broke you off when you were talking a bit earlier. Can you go back to the money mindsets, what you were saying, a little bit of, you wanted to give your input on that? It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And before you say that, Faten, talking about the authenticity, I love your authenticity as well. The thing is, I want, wellness is also a taboo in many places. People don't want to talk about their problems, and they just dwell on it, and they don't go out for help. So even in my past wellness episodes, I've always tried and broke the taboo and said people should go and ask for help.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm being authentic here, and I'm always being. But I wanted to be open and speak about it, because you need to reach out to get help. You're not going to get help otherwise. And I'm speaking out for myself as well. Coming back to Cesar, let's go to the Mindset Pro.
Yeah. So what I wanted to tell you, it sounds like you are procrastinating, and procrastinating and writer's block is very much related. People, they can procrastinate and they often don't understand why they procrastinate, and they find themselves often in a situation like 5 minutes before the deadline. Why didn't I start before? Or why I always have to start late and put myself into stress. And it's about also, again, mindset. It's about often people have fear of failure, so they're putting tasks off. And when people have, or it can be fear of failure, it can be like lack of confidence. It can be even fear of success, because sometimes the goal which you're working towards is like, maybe you are scared if you achieve this, that imagine if you become very rich, for example. Maybe you're like just not, you can't perceive like what your life will look like. And what my coach told me about writer's block, if a writer has the block, what he should do basically, and this is about taking action, you should just start writing anything. Say, hello, the sky is blue. Just start writing. Just start
Wow.
doing something. And then once you are already in the action, doing like taking action, and this is like key to like coaching, like helping people to move forward, they need to take action. And with taking action comes confidence. So it's like a circle, right? It's like feeding each other. The
Well,
more action you take, the more confidence, the wider
yeah,
your comfort zone becomes. Because your comfort zone, you should see it as like the more experience, the more confidence,
yeah.
the wider your comfort zone. It's about doing new things or even like
Cesar, Cesar,
that.
Cesar, did you call me a procrastinator just now, a couple of minutes ago? Did you say that? I think you're procrastinating. Did you say that?
It sounds like you could, like it could be the case.
No, 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 because that is my second name.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and then I go on a guilt trip. I'm on
And
a
then you
guilt.
start beating yourself up, and then it gets worse and worse. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think we also
You
need to
know,
be kind to yourself. And this, as coaches, we also want to teach our coaches, like, don't beat yourself up. Don't. It's okay. Like, but just take it easy on yourself, but take action, and you'll get there. Just believe in yourself. But procrastination, like, is very normal. It's just very good to think about, where does this come from? Why am I procrastinating? Am I fearing something? Am I fearing the tasks? It does it like look like it's going to be too difficult, maybe.
yeah.
But in reality, like, you can easily do it. Yeah.
can I add something? Just tell
Absolutely.
2 days ago, or yeah, like this week, I added a video. I shooted a video and added a point on before labeling yourself as a procrastinator, because if we label ourselves as procrastinators, we will do that self-fulfilling prophecy that Cessa was talking about. And if we talk positively with ourselves and start writing, for example, I'll use Cessa's example, start writing, and this builds confidence. And again, so self-fulfilling prophecy works on both sides, in the negative and on the positive aspect. So I said in that video, before labeling yourself as a procrastinator, ask yourself these 4 questions. Why I want to do this task? What makes it important? And what would you achieve? What do I achieve? I'm not saying this to you, Bosco. What would I achieve if I do this task? And finally, how is this aligned with who I am as a person? How is this aligned with my uh, relationships? And how is this aligned with my community? So alignment is a very important thing that I always go back to as well, like aligned with who I am, aligned with my values. Because when I'm doing things that are aligned with who I am, no one wants to wake me up in the morning to do that, right? I would be so much energized because I'm doing me. I'm aligned. I'm not here, and my values are here. No. So before labeling yourself as a procrastinator, do this simple exercise and ask
Mm.
yourself these 4 questions. Why do I want to achieve these tasks? What makes it important? What would I achieve? And then at the end, how is this aligned? So
Achieve greatness, really, because I'm on a
there you
journey here.
go.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Faten, lovely. I really enjoyed this authenticity here. It's fantastic. You won't believe we have gone so far into the program. We nearly come to the end of it, but I have not asked you the defining question which I wanted to start. But that's fine. I'm always impromptu. So I would like to ask Cessa first, and then Fatin. How do you define wellness? What is wellness? Because Cessa offline 2 days ago asked me what is wellness, and I'm like, so I just pulled it together and said, this is what wellness is for me. I mean, which is mind, body, and soul. Working on your mind, working on your body, where you exercise, frequently or daily if possible, and eating right. Not. I mean, eating right. Yeah, the good foods, and not
Yeah.
binge eating. And then I said, yeah, that's wellness to me. So
Yeah.
what is wellness to you, Cessa? And then we'll ask Fatin the same question.
Yeah. Yes, it's funny as you said when I asked you what do you like, how do you define wellness, right? And then I had some search, and like the common definition of wellness, it is about as you said, like the mind, body, soul, having the good physical activities, and like mental fitness as well, in order to become like the optimum version of yourself and to function as good as possible. From a mindset perspective, and like how I would like help my coaches in this case, it is about creating healthy habits and about removing destructive habits. Healthy habits can be, I mean, anything, right? It can be waking up early, going to bed on time, sleeping 8 hours, like managing your negative thoughts. Like if you notice a negative thought coming up, like know how to deal with it.
Can
Of
you
course,
give us an example? Can you give us an example? Continue with, yeah, continue with the wellness explanation, and then
okay.
can you give us a quick example? Because I wanted some of our audience to know about how, anxiety, not anxiety attacks, but per se, but constant negative thoughts, and then suddenly
Yeah,
you become a worry bug, and then what do
yeah.
you do?
Well, so let's say from a mindset perspective, I would define it as having like good habits, healthy habits. And the example actually is really funny because like we have a magic formula for this, and it's very very simple. So let's say people, they like there's this concept of being in a suffering state, and a beautiful state. Okay. And people are constantly on the line between suffering state and beautiful state. However, okay, you will think suffering state is very, very like it sounds really hard and extreme, but suffering state can be like more towards the suffering line. But it can be like having anxiety, having some stress, like okay, you're like having dinner with your family, but you're thinking about other things. You're not present in the moment, for example. This is also considered to be on the suffering side, right? So you're constantly like in between, and like ideally you're at the end of the beautiful state, right? So when you notice you are in a suffering state, you're stressing about something, you have like a negative thought, what you need to do is like come back to yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I'm worrying about or that I'm fearing right now? And then you can, yeah, I always encourage, and I'm also like, I encourage my coaches, journal, write down your thoughts, write down what's in your head.
Yeah.
So write down what is worrying you, and then ask yourself, what is the opposite of this? And then ask yourself empowering questions in order to achieve the opposite. And then it's, for example, let's say I'm afraid that my boss will be very unhappy with my presentation, and in the worst case, I'll be fired. And you're thinking about this. And then you ask yourself, what is the opposite of this fear? The opposite is that my boss is going to be so happy with my presentation, and he's going to promote me. And then you ask yourself the empowering question, what do I need to do in order to achieve this opposite? And then automatically you trick your brain into thinking positively just by asking yourself empowering and positive questions. And it's like the brain automatically, like all people, this is natural. Your brain is automatically thinking negatively. And this is simply because it's our primitive part of the brain, which wants to keep us out of danger. Because in the prehistorics, we were living in the caves, and like we had a lot of dangers around us. So we are programmed in order to like monitor affairs and to like be alert all the time. This is why people often live naturally like with negative thoughts, just because our brain wants to keep us safe. This is also the reason why it's so difficult to get out of your comfort zone, because your brain wants to keep you inside the safety zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So this is how you basically can, if you become aware of this, how you can trick your brain into thinking positively.
True, very true. Faten, you want to add anything to that? Before you give your explanation about, I mean, your definition of well-being, wellness.
Wow, thank you. I just want to, yeah, like we are born with a negativity bias, because
Wow.
as Sessa was saying, it was important for our ancestors to watch out from a tiger versus watching a butterfly jumping from a flower to a flower. That doesn't
Mm.
make any danger for them. But
Yeah.
if they saw a tiger or a lion coming their side, they have to be afraid. So we are born with a negativity bias, and the our job to overcome that takes a real work, takes real work. And I always say to my clients, we want to build a new set of muscles, because our default muscle is negative, you know and we have to build a new set of muscles that is positive, and it cultivates positivity and empowering beliefs as well. So that's what I wanted to add
That's nice. Lovely.
on that side. Yeah.
And your explain and your definition, if you'd like to.
Interesting. Yeah. So my definition of wellness, definitely I agree with all what you both said about, the mind, body, and soul. And you made me remember when you asked this question now, one of the exercises that I do with my clients in some workshops, I start the session by saying, I am fine and, or I am good and, because, people will always say, no, I'm good, I'm well. And wellness comes very diluted because of that. Like, I'm well, because we are masters in hiding and putting everything, under
True.
the table or within us. So so I am fine and opens lots and lots of questions, or how you really are. So wellness to me is having that, faith or belief that you are where you are meant to be. And that inner peace comes from lots and lots and lots of reflection, because we are so running as on hamster wheels, right? All the time. And people get burnt out. They are really tired at the end of the day. So if I'm saying, if I'm seeing someone who is well, it's definitely taking the well of their physical well-being, and they are taking care of their mental and emotional well-being, meaning that they are looking at their emotions as signs. They are looking at their emotions as signposts. If I'm feeling sad now, that's a red traffic light that I have to stop at. If I'm seeing myself as very negative, I'm not being able to get out of the bed, maybe, like, what's that telling me? So this comes with reflection and slowing down. And that's the emotional well-being. The mental well-being is, you know knowing deep down and wholeheartedly that this is this is amazing. I always say this example, that imagine you have a farmer who has a very big land, and it's a very fertile land. So he could plant maybe corn, and he will get more and more corn, because it is, very fertile. And he could add or plant poison, and because it is poisonous, he will get more and more poison. So our brain, our mind is much more fertile than any land we could think of. If I plant positive things, I'll get positive things. If I plant negative things, I get negative things.
Would you say?
And
Sorry.
and
Yeah.
the good farmer doesn't leave his garden. So imagine now we planted a beautiful garden. It's amazing. It has lots and lots of beautiful flowers. Cessa is from the Netherlands and they have amazing flowers there, right? So imagine we have lots of flowers and we leave it. There will be so many weeds coming in the way. And that's the negative thing. So I could say to my clients, even if we planted this and after this session you're feeling like you're pumped up and you want to plant the best thing, if you leave it, the weeds will come. So we'll
True.
keep on removing those negative weeds and negative things. So that's the wellness for me. It's physical, eating healthy, sleeping well, all of that, and the mental and the emotional even more.
I love that. I love the example of the flowers and the weed. It's, and as
Yeah.
I said earlier, it's continuous work to keep yourself in the positive
Absolutely,
state of mind.
absolutely.
Very
And you
true.
need to understand that it's continuous work. And if, for example, me in the morning, I wake up and I do my meditation and I write things that I'm grateful for, just to put my brain like already thinking about the positive things. But
Oh
if I
yeah.
don't do that, if I don't do my meditation, then I notice like I get grumpier and I'm like more annoyed. It's so easy to get back into that negative. You need to like keep working to stay, stay
This is
positive.
this is something I heard from so many, even my yoga practitioner and my yoga guru. Always in our session, every day we have a gratitude. So at the end, he says, just be grateful for you got a meal today, you got a glass of water, be grateful. You got clean, oxygen to breathe, be grateful for that. I mean, things that you take for granted. He's saying, just be grateful. Would you all agree
Exactly.
to that? Would you all agree? I mean, Akeet, being grateful for
Absolutely.
the simplest of things.
Actually, gratitude is one of the most researched positive psychology interventions.
Oh wow,
And there is lots and lots of research around gratitude. So, yes, absolutely. Counting your blessings and counting your like three good things
three good things.
are just,
Yeah,
yeah, that's an exercise. That's a positive psychology intervention, to be honest.
that's
It's just amazing because um, it has been shown through research. There are lots and lots of articles that it enhances the immune system. And now with COVID, for example,
yeah.
just be it will enhance the immune system. It will enhance everything, to be honest,
Wow.
physically.
So
So yeah, gratitude is a
yeah,
very big,
this
and
True.
is
it's the
for.
most researched topic.
Pardon me, I didn't hear. We didn't get that.
It is the most researched topic in positive psychology,
Oh,
gratitude.
mashallah, fantastic! Wow. So
Yeah.
so every day when I have my yoga with Vishnu, he says this, and I'm gonna say, my other new gurus, mindset gurus, agree with you. Yeah,
Yes.
uh, we have, as always, I always feel that we have. I've not accomplished everything when I have my wellness episode, because there's so much more to delve into and talk. But Faten and Sessa, it was lovely hosting y'all. We have a few more minutes. I'd love for y'all to get an opportunity now to be the host of the Big B Meetup, our 58th episode, where you can ask a question to each one of us. And all I say is, please be kind. Yeah, gratitude is the right attitude. So,
Yes.
Sessa, if you would like to ask Faten and myself a question each, and then Faten will oblige, go ahead. The
Or
time.
can I ask you both the same question?
Yeah, you can. Right? It's absolutely.
Okay. What is a wellness goal? What both of you want to achieve within 1 week,
Wow.
and the goal which is most important to you to achieve it this week.
Okay.
Okay.
You want me
The
to go? I
wellness,
can.
I
Sorry. Let
can
me.
go.
Yeah. Let's.
The
Yeah.
wellness goal that I was talking with my personal trainer on Thursday about actually is to sleep well. Because recently I had so much stiff neck because I was working on my master's thesis and my research paper around self love, and I wasn't sleeping well at all. So
Wow.
that's a wellness goal. And today I think I achieved a big part of it because I slept kind of
like a
4 hours
baby.
during the day. So
Oh
during
wow.
the day, even at night. So
So
yeah.
oh wow. Okay, hang on.
Amazing.
Just I will answer that question, but just coming back to what Fatin said, did you say you did your masters on self love?
Yes,
That's
my
fantastic.
research topic and my TEDx talk was about self-love. I'm very passionate about this topic, and
My
I think we
God.
need another session for that.
Yes, I was going to say that.
Look
I said
forward.
we need to talk about self love. Because
Yeah,
I
oh
know
yeah, absolutely.
it's like the gratitude, self love is important. And
Yeah.
what is your take on having an afternoon snooze? Because my afternoon snooze, again, if I may go live, is much more uh, powerful than my night sleep. So my 1 hour or 1.5 hour or half an hour, 45 minutes of afternoon siesta, like the Portuguese and the Goans in me, is much more powerful and enlightening than the night nap that I get, which is from 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. maybe, or 11 a.m. sometimes, depending.
How long do you nap?
Oh, the mindset coaches, yeah. Yeah, well, 1 hour, sometimes 45 minutes.
Try next time. Try meditating instead, and then try to go to bed earlier. And then
Okay.
once you go to bed earlier, no, yeah, you need to like maybe wake up earlier and then go to bed earlier. So you shift it a little bit. But I
Yeah.
would say try to meditate.
So that is my wellness goal for this week. And Sessa, you have played a very big role in that, because I want to change my sleep pattern. I have to, because that will help me stop procrastinating also. And when you said, uh, because you're snapping at people, you're not achieving stuff, so you need to write down your pointers, and then get up a little earlier and do some meditation, which I'm not. I used to do that a couple of years ago, but now COVID hit. My sleep pattern has just gone berserk.
Really, for me in the morning, I wake up at 6 a.m. Then from 6 to 6:30, I do like meditation, gratitude, coffee. Then I go to the gym from 6:30 to 7:30, and then I like get ready. I take my breakfast. But seriously, this time for yourself. Even you can do some reading in the morning. To have this time for yourself, because once the day starts, this is at least how I experience it, and a lot of people as well. Once your day starts, you'll have so many things going on, like people calling you, and you have your work, and you have everything, and you have like your family and your kids maybe. So if you wake up earlier and like really take this time for yourself, also you'll be like more focused throughout the rest of the day. I mean, I know it sounds like a lot. I mean, you don't immediately have to implement everything of that, but you can start with like every day wake up 15 minutes earlier or half an hour earlier, do 3 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of meditation. So you can easily start adjusting if you want, if this is a priority for you to change.
Okay, yeah, wow, thank you. That I will take into my repertoire. Thank you. So I've answered your question too. That's my mindset goal. That's my
I
wellness goal for this week.
Yeah, I have a question, two different questions. I'll ask Sessa first, ladies first. So, what's one thing you are walking away with from this from this meeting, from
Oh,
this
lovely
interview
question.
or session?
Nice question.
Yeah, okay. So actually, I wanted to also comment on that earlier. One very important thing, and Faten, you reminded me of that, is that we are exactly where we need to be,
Yeah.
in the sense that in any case, no matter how you interpret this, in any case it's fine, because either like could be like you believe in like a bigger power or the universe or God. In this case, it's beautiful and we're exactly where we need to be because it's just how it goes. But as Patton said, from a place of reflection, if anything what happens to you, if you reflect on that and if you learn from the situation, then it's going to make you grow. Like whatever happens to us and every challenge we face in our lives, it's going to make us grow and it's going to shape us into the person who we are, or into the person or who we become. And also another thing I loved, Pat, and also what you mentioned was that and this is actually an exercise I did also for myself. What is the best version of yourself, like your higher self, your ideal self? And me, even I wrote like 4 pages of in detail, like what does she do? What habits does she have? And whenever you have a dilemma, but sometimes like I just find myself in a dilemma and I don't know what to do, or like I'm stressing about something, then you can just ask yourself, okay, this version of yourself, the highest version, what would she do?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think these 2 things, what you reminded me, I think these are the key takeaways. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank
Lovely,
you.
lovely question. Yeah, lovely answer.
And Bosco, for you, I want to ask you, what do you know for sure?
That's a nice, tricky question. What do I know for sure?
Yeah.
Ah, let's see. I was going to give you a negative answer at first. That we
Wow,
are
that's good. That's a great awareness, by the way, that you quote yourself.
that we are yeah we are that we are all going to pass this life. We have this is our only time here. That's my answer.
Deep.
I know. Is it?
Ooh,
What can I say?
I'm feeling you're doing woof.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Can't like, nothing now. Now that I said it, I can't think of anything else. You know. Can you repeat that question again? I've already forgotten the question. Can you imagine?
What's something that you know for sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'll answer it again. I know for sure that Big B Meetup is going to be a big success for me. I'm coming to I mean, I worked in marketing and publishing and events, right? This is like my career path now that will take me past my retirement age. I'm not yet in my retirement age. I have at least 16 or 17 more years left. But this is not a job. This is like my lifestyle now. So I don't want to see it. I want to do it till my last breath. Like I want to do 400 shows maybe in the next 20 years, or maybe more. So and retire as an artist, as a photographer. So even when I'm 70 years old, I can still take pictures if I'm still able to. That'll be my that'll keep me going.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And you will be. If you put it up there that I will be 70 and I will be taking beautiful photos, I'm sure you will be there.
Yeah. Thank you, Fatin, and thank you, Cesar. It was so nice, and I'm so happy that this session went as authentic as an and as ever. What do you call? What's the word? Generic. It went very. It was not.
It was
Fun.
spontaneous, I think.
Yeah. That's how I like my shows to go, and it was very nice. I'd like you all to end with your message of love and peace, or your wellness message, if you may. Cesar, would you like to go first? And then
Yeah.
we'll go with Fatin. And yeah,
I will say to everyone, take it easy on yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Don't put pressure. Just take it easy.
I like that.
And something that is a mantra
Mantra,
that
yeah. It's a very
that
Indian word.
yes, exactly, that stems from my self-love research is something that I would always use in my sessions if the topic was about that is I am enough.
Pardon?
As I am,
I am enough.
just like that, I am enough.
Fantastic. Wow. This has been
I,
a real. This has been lovely. And let me give you all another accolade today. Not that you all need it, as you said. I am enough. With all due respect to all my past episode guests, I should say, I think I can say this with confidence, that this has been my most beautiful guests till date.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. Thank
yeah.
you.
Fatin, I love your style quotient, as I told you before. And I got to know of you through Shireen, another diva. Yeah. And Cessa, you very beautiful. Of course, Dutch is. I'm a big Dutch fan. I'm a fan of the Holland football and hockey team, and yeah, and it's not just beauty, but with brains and with a lot of heart and soul. And it's so nice to have you all today. And as I always say, I'd like to revisit you all again on another program. Wellness has been my first ever event on before COVID hit, when I inaugurated Big B Meetup with a wellness episode. I had Vishnu Yoga. I had a couple of other people. I had a hijabi lady who climbed Mount Kilimanjaro to show women's emancipation. And I had another life coach, an Arab life coach on my program. Vishnu Yoga came along and showed us some breathing asanas. So wellness is one of my four pillars of Big B Meetup. Yeah. So I'll never forget you all, and I'll definitely I'd like you all to be host on my to I would like to host you all again on my program sometime later this year. Maybe mix it up with Joey or another guest, and we'll try and control the time. See, we've already gone more than 1 hour. Yeah, guys, it was a pleasure. And Cessa, thank you for coming on the program, even though you're on a holiday. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's very
You're
nice.
welcome.
And Fatin,
I'm
thank
glad
you so
to be
much.
here.
Thank you so much. I loved this interview. I loved this session. I don't know what to call it, but it was a discussion, a lovely discussion with Cessa and Bosco. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, thank you so
Me
much.
too.
And
Thank you.
thank you
Thanks a
guys
lot.
for and thank you everybody for tuning in. Take care and ma salama.
Bye